representation to the international community to keep alive the values Nelson Mandela stood for by placing human dignity at the center of their actions. Addressing the world leaders at the Nelson Mandela Peace Summit in New York, President Buhari said concerted efforts must also be made towards building a just, peaceful, prosperous, inclusive and fair world. State House correspondent Adam Musambo again reports.
Commemorating the centenary of the birth of Nelson Mandela, the Peace Summit, culminating in the adoption of a political declaration on global peace in honor of the legacy of Nelson Mandela, represents the relaunching of commitment by the international community to peace and security in the world. This is coming at a time of uncertainty and fears about the United Nations' capacity for collective action to solve the most pressing global problems such as conflicts, poverty, arms trafficking, climate change, and violent extremism. For President Muhammadu Buhari, it is yet a time of great hope and renaissance.
As Mandela passes into history, we stand with him in his aspirations for a better world. It is our duty to live up to his indelible legacy by collectively holding ourselves accountable to the values and principles for this declaration by striving for a just, peaceful, prosperous, democratic, fair, and inclusive world.
The Nigerian leader said as the world continues to reflect on Nelson Mandela's unwavering advocacy for human rights, social justice, and peace, leaders must rededicate themselves to the service of humanity by championing democracy, conflict resolution, disarmament, reconciliation, mutual respect, and the fight against poverty. He said in the quest to attain peace and development, the world must surely draw inspiration from the life of Nelson Mandela.
Nigeria calls on all states to recognize that the United Nations is built on pillars of peace and security, development and human rights, which are the foundations for our collective well-being, and emphasize that there can be no peace without sustainable development, and no sustainable development without peace and the full respect for human rights and fundamental freedoms for all.
Various speakers at the summit believe that the remarkable legacy of Nelson Mandela not only remains as relevant as ever 5 years after his passing, but represents the light of hope for a world still torn apart by conflicts and suffering.
Through this Peace Summit, the current generation of global leadership is given a wonderful opportunity not only to reflect on peace in the world, but to take these measures necessary to end the wars that continue to take millions of innocent lives.
One of humanity's greatest leaders, Nelson Mandela, they say, represented the values of peace, solidarity, cooperation, and respect for all of human beings, regardless of their political position, skin color, or religious beliefs. From New York, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Still at the New York, Africa is exploring innovative ways of funding peacekeeping operations on the continent and reducing over-reliance on the United Nations and other donors. This was part of discussions of the African Peace and Security Council held on the sidelines of the 73rd General Assembly of the United Nations. Foreign Desk Correspondent Makut Simon Macham reports.
As Africa continues to work at reducing conflicts on the continent in line with its agenda for silencing guns and promoting peace, the funding of peacekeeping operations and other related responsibilities remain a challenge to the continent. At this meeting on the sidelines of the 73rd United Nations General Assembly in New York, members of the Council are coming up with new ideas.
Because at the moment, again, that was the point made, we're being a bit too dependent on outside partners for our security on the continent. And, we talked about our support also for the African, fund, security fund that is being set up, and for member states to contribute to that fund to give African countries and the AU the capacity to intervene in conflict and not just wait for outside partners.
The African Union is using every possible avenue to push issues relating to the development of the continent as it engages the world at the 73rd UN General Assembly. From New York in the United States, Makut Simon Macham, NTA News.
Wife of the President, Aisha Muhammad Buhari, has emphasized on the need for the spouses of African leaders to take more proactive measures in canvassing support and advocacy to effectively tackle the epidemic of HIV and AIDS and addressing other diseases in Africa for improving the general well-being of women and children. Mrs. Buhari stated this at the high-level meeting of the African First Ladies against HIV and AIDS as part of the sideline events of the 73rd session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York. State House correspondent Aliu Kabir reports.
Stakeholders are on the opinion that HIV, AIDS and other diseases are deflating the active population in Africa that invariably have hindered growth and development. Mothers and children are worst hit as victims of HIV/AIDS by the recent statistics. The 21st high-level conference taking place currently at the sideline event of the 73rd session of the United Nations is seeking to further strengthen ownership and accountability to end AIDS in children and keep mothers alive through eliminating mother-to-child transmission of the scourge in Africa. The meeting, which took place behind closed doors and which was chaired by the Vice President of the Organization of the African First Ladies Against HIV/AIDS and the First Lady of Burkina Faso, Sika Kabore, is meant to cultivate more partnership and advocacy to mobilize resources to end what they called pediatric of AIDS. While struggling to get rid of the epidemic in Africa, the good news is that Nigeria has the least percentage of the burden, which is why the wife of the president, Aisha Muhammad Buhari, explained that still more needs to be done, especially in creating awareness and sourcing funding.
The countries need to monitor the activities of the agencies that deals with the HIV and AIDS to make sure that the funds that's given to the countries are being utilized for that purpose alone, and also we should have sense of accountability, because like some of the donors are losing hope on agencies and it's becoming a major problem for people that are living with HIV and AIDS.
The overall objective of the meeting is to mobilize African First Ladies and other high-level leadership to contribute meaningfully to ending HIV/AIDS in Africa by 2030.
More awareness, more campaigns. We need more funding to take care of these issues, because without funds we can't do anything.
Excellent. She has set the pace that we're following. She has really been very encouraging. We've been following her footsteps now.
Taking into cognizance the magnitude and the dangers of HIV/AIDS within the continent of Africa, the wife of the president emphasized on the need for the spouses of the African leaders to take advantage of this meeting and consolidate on the gains so far in their effort to improving the health and the general well-being of women and children. In New York City, Aliu Kabir, NTA News.
Time to take a break for some messages. Stay with us.
Time to explore. Looks like a fun way to learn. Awesome! And this, I can learn new language. We are music. And I can learn to play an instrument too? Cool! Games everywhere! Wow! Freebies! Free data, WhatsApp and birthday credit? I love it here. I'm never leaving.
Play, explore and learn with MTN M-Pulse.
The tastiest blue band with vitamins A, D, E, B6, B12, folic acid, and niacin. So important for kids' growth and development.
You can tell they're from a Blue Band home.
Spread every slice and give your kids the vitamins they need.
The National Teachers Institute, Kaduna, in collaboration with Commonwealth of Learning, Vancouver, Canada, welcomes the general public to the formal launching of our Advanced Diploma in Environmental Education under the distinguished chairmanship of the Honorable Minister of State for Education, Professor Anthony Goze Anwoka. Special guest of honor, Honorable Minister of Education, Malang Adamu Adamu. Chief host, His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Kaduna State, Nasir Ahmed El Rufai. Date, Wednesday, 26 September 2018. Venue, Smase Inset Hall, NTI Headquarters, Kaduna. Time, 10 a.m. Announcer, Professor Gerba Dahua Azari, Director General and Chief Executive, NTI.
I need a product that I can really trust to restore my skin's natural glow.
Nivea Natural Fairness Body Lotion, containing unique berry extracts and UV protection to restore your natural glow and care for your skin.
Hello, here to pick up your sister? Mommy? Wow, such beautiful glowing skin.
Reveal your natural glow with Natural Fairness Body Lotion from Nivea.
All right, kids, today you're all going to tell me how you all spent your holidays. So the essay will be... Who did that? Who did that?
Excitement of the new school session with great tasting Indomie noodles. Hurry now and get yours. Indomie noodles, tasty nutrition, good for you.
Ever since he could hold a bat, Charles wanted to play like his big brother. Victor had skills that matched the best in the land. Never mind, little brother, drink your Dano milk and keep practicing. So that is what he did. And step by step, glass by glass, the boy grew in spirit and strength. Drink your Dano milk and be strong.
Also available in Dano Cool Cow, Dano Slim, and Dano Flavored Milk. Choose Dano. Choose goodness.
Nobody can't wake me for death. As my matter be, it be like he say, person die, person God he can't wake up. Now so Buhari can't wake me from death. But I not get something when they go give her unless thank you. I did change to make farm. Then he helped me house. The house when I did before, he dey link. Before I born, 5 pikin. You know, I don't get food when I go give them. That's why I share them. But now my pikin they near me. Sunday with me now. No be like before. I happy. I thank you well. I no see him, but God go carry my I do a computer where I dey.
Thank you for remaining with NTA Network News. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says the Buhari administration will not play down the role of the nation's past leaders as it resolved to build a prosperous nation. President Yemi Osinbajo stated this while declaring open a photo exhibition as a part of activities lined up to commemorate Nigeria's 58th independence in Abuja. Anthony Folson reports.
The photo exhibition has as its theme the footprints of Nigeria's political leaders, showcasing Nigeria's history from pre-colonial era till date, as well as Nigeria's rich cultural heritage. It is in line with this that Vice President Yemi Osinbajo applauded the wisdom and courage of the nation's past leaders, saying they are remembered as heroes whose common ideology gave Nigeria its pride of place.
We clearly saw the strength of the Nigerian resolve to build a nation and the valiant attempts of the leadership at state building. We've not always excelled. We've not always done as well as we could. But that is not the story. The story is that we have never lacked the courage and the will and the resolve to keep trying, and to do so at each turn with even greater resolve and greater commitment.
And as a nation, he said, looking back into history should not determine the future, given some of its dark moments.
I'm pleased to say, on behalf of the Nigerian government and the Nigerian people, that we have chosen to say that our history will not determine our future. Our history is the least that we can ever be. Our future is much greater. Our history is only the precursor to a greater Nigeria, to a Nigeria that's prosperous, united, and where all of us are treated fairly and justly. Our history is only the beginning of that great Nigerian story.
Convener and Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, said the exhibition is to remind Nigerians, especially the young generation, the role of these past leaders in the Nigerian story.
It also serves as a poignant reminder and appreciation of the labors of our heroes past. For those who are not old enough to have witnessed Nigeria's independence in 1960, they can at least look at the pictures of pre-independence Nigeria at the handing over ceremony of the colonial masters to Nigerian leaders to have an idea of how things were and the hopes for a bright future ahead.
There were goodwill messages from some of the ambassadors present. Highlight of the exhibition was the presentation of prizes to winners of an arts exhibition, which was for the students to draw the portrait of President Muhammadu Buhari. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
Nigeria is working towards reducing the cost of shipping business to about 35% so as to make the ports competitive. This was made known at the sub-regional workshop and joint standing committee meeting of the Union of African Shippers Council in Abuja. Oyena Kalu Oka has the story.
Do you know Nigeria today, without even being at war, we are paying what they call war commission charges on shipping. It has affected us professionally. We have also lost in terms of shipping development in Nigeria.
Tales of lamentations by these shippers who have been in the business for more than 25 years. Nigeria is listed as one of the countries in West Africa with the highest cost of shipping. With delegates from about 19 countries, the meeting is looking at ways of restoring costs, inefficiency and delay of cargoes in the region.
Our cost must be related to services that are going to be rendered. Nigerian Shippers Council is negotiating with shipping companies. By the time we are through with the MOU, you'll see drastic reduction.
Minister of Transportation Chibike Rotimi Amechi said Nigeria is the only country in Africa not on the trade platform, which facilitates clearing of cargo within 24 hours. He called on delegates to look at the issues of World Trade Organization, trade facilitation agreements, and port operations that will promote trade in West Africa.
The government of Nigeria has made remarkable progress in trade support, infrastructure development through reforms in the maritime sector. We're establishing inland dry ports and truck transit parks in several locations across the country to bring shipping closer to service users in the hinterlands.
The meeting is also focusing on issues bordering on cargo destined for landlocked countries, which has capacity to boost trade. Oyina Akalo Oka, NTA News.
The All Progressives Congress, APC, has announced the mode of primaries for the September 29th governorship primary elections. Political correspondent Salihu Abdullahi has details of these and other developments at the APC national headquarters in Abuja.
The governorship primary elections scheduled to hold this Saturday across the country will be conducted either through direct or indirect method as adopted at the last NEC meeting of the party. The National Working Committee of the party has approved the conduct of direct primaries in 17 states and the FCT, while the indirect will be adopted in 19 states. The NWC, however, banned the Adamawa State Working Committee from participating as delegates during the forthcoming governorship primaries in the state, where indirect primary will be conducted. As a follow-up to its statement, which highlighted a plan by the People's Democratic Party to rig Thursday's Osun State governorship rerun election, the All Progressives Congress says it has received fresh reports from its field agent on the ongoing cloning of permanent voter cards by PDP agents. APC Acting National Publicity Secretary Yakini Nabena called on the Independent National Electoral Commission to urgently investigate the development. In the same vein, the APC Campaign Council for the Osun governorship election has urged party members in the areas where the rerun election will be held to ignore what it calls the rantings of the PDP and turn out en masse to vote for the APC. In a statement, the chairman of the council's media committee, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, said the threat by the PDP to challenge in court INEC's declaration of last Saturday's election as inconclusive is nothing but sharp bravado, as the opposition party is afraid of losing the rerun. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
The missions of the European Union, the United Kingdom and the United States have commended the people of Osun State, the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC, as well as security agencies for the transparent and smooth conduct of the gubernatorial elections held in Osun. A statement from the Information Office of the Embassy of the United States stresses the importance that the rerun should take place without any violence, intimidation, or vote buying. Whoever wins the election after Thursday's rerun should be magnanimous in victory, and whoever loses should be gracious in defeat, the statement added. And in Imo State, the Imo State High Court in Owerri has nullified the impeachment of the Imo State Deputy Governor, Eze Madumere, by the Imo State House of Assembly. The court ruled that the impeachment did not follow due process and therefore is illegal. The Imo State High Court also ruled that Eze Madumere is still the Deputy Governor of Imo State. The Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria returns the interest rate. Let's join Amina Nujen on Business News.
Good evening and welcome to Business News. Amidst speculations of a review of the monetary rates, the Monetary Policy Committee has retained all key parameters as held in the last 2 years. The committee this Tuesday retained the monetary policy rate at 14%, cash reserve ratio at 22.5%, and asymmetric corridor at plus 200 and minus 500 points around the NPR. Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, says the decision to hold the existing rate comes from the need to consolidate on the economic gains.
A decision to hold all policy parameters constant will sustain gradual improvements in output growth. There is need to maintain the current monetary policy stance and await a clearer understanding of the quantum and timing of liquidity injections into the economy before deciding on possible adjustments. The MPC, however, called on the government to fast-track the implementation of the 2018 budget to help jumpstart the process of sustainable economic recovery and to facilitate passage of the petroleum industry bill in order to increase the contribution of the sector to overall GDP.
The committee, however, expressed concerns over the rising level of non-performing loans linked to the oil sector, which it cautioned is price-induced and must be checked. The equities market closed Tuesday on a positive note as the Nigerian Stock Exchange all-share index appreciated by 2.08%. Its year-to-date returns currently stands at minus 13.14%. That wraps up Business News. I am Amina Nushain.
When I join Hingino in our Lagos studio for more reports. Hello, Hingino.
Thank you, Kudu, and welcome to Lagos. Efforts towards sustaining the oceans, seas, and marine resources for sustainable development is continuing, with stakeholders calling for the protection and conservation of water organisms. At a forum to mark Goal 14 agenda of the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, they agreed that strengthening interagencies collaboration is imperative for checking the depletion of marine resources. Michael Olale reports.
The health of the ocean is seriously threatened by pollution, irregular fishing activities, and oil spillage. This is evident in the high level of acid in the ocean and gradual decline of maritime life. This dialogue is concerned with how these factors inhibit sustainable livelihood and decent ecosystem for mankind.
In addition to climate action, there is also that attention we need to pay to how we as human beings upstream dispose and manage our waste.
Part of the steps agencies concerned are taking is restricting fishing activities for a specific period and teaching fishermen how to use the cage culture to check harvesting endangered species.
For marine debris, we have the MAPOL Convention, which NIMASA is enforcing. Any vessel that throw waste on board will be arrested because they have a surveillance. They see every vessel that is coming in.
The target of having at least 10% marine protected areas, multiple fishery surveillance vessels, and carrying out deep-sea exploration research were also suggested.
The coastal communities, they have no idea how this affects them and the broader environment. So we need to do more advocacy.
Let us collaborate. The laws are there. It is a matter of ensuring compliance.
To maintain the quality of life the oceans have provided to mankind, while sustaining the integrity of the ecosystem, a change will be required in how humans see, manage, and use ocean, sea, and marine resources. In Lagos, Michael Olaleye, NTA News.
Experts are again warning that the abuse of antibiotics could lead to up to 10 million deaths by the year 2050. Nenrod Nino Musa reports that this was the focus of discussion at the 2018 World Pharmacist Day.
The theme for the 2018 World Pharmacist Day was Pharmacists, Your Medicine Experts, and pharmacists from the public and private sector used it to draw attention to their specific role in the medical industry. President of the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, Ahmed Yakase, highlighted the professional role of the pharmacist with knowledge on drugs who can advise both patients and other healthcare professionals. He stressed the need for all health practitioners to collectively work towards a harmonious goal for the benefit of their patients as their calling prescribes.
The way people abuse antibiotics, you will not know the consequences until when you are on the theater for operation. They find out that after opening you, all the antibiotics that they're going to use are resistant to you.
Dr. Laja Odunuga analyzed the global challenge of antimicrobial resistance, stressing that it is an increasingly serious threat to public health. He recommended that key players place emphasis on appropriate antibiotic prescription principles, which includes treatment of bacterial infection only, optimized diagnosis or severity assessment, among others.
By year 2050, over 10 million people will have died from antimicrobial resistance, and this will have cost us $100 million.
Other speakers reiterated the fact that pharmacists need to be supported to develop their capacity.
The Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria has appealed for a prescription policy that will ensure every healthcare practitioner operates within his or her limits. In Lagos, Nairotinina Musa, NTA News.
You're still watching NTA Network News. More reports ahead after this timeout. Please stay with us.
This traffic is terrible. What is your map saying?
Don't worry. The map says it will soon clear.
Never! On! This bush woman. Madam, come on! See this? Whose mother you do, madam? Shut up! Never! Shut up! Okay.
At the end, there's a T-junction. Then there's another road that follows again.
Papa, you finally came. Don't you know that with Glow Augasti, I will always be ahead?
With Glow Augasti, enjoy 125% more data to get ahead. Dial *777#. The largest data network. Glow, grandmasters of data.
I can taste the real chicken.
Real chicken. Don't worry, Abba. It's not your chicken.
It's the Sadap Supreme Chicken Essence that gives it the supreme chicken taste. Be Supreme, Nigeria.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the daring and invincible Louis the Mosquito. Responsible for 200 malaria cases all on its own. Is there anything that can kill Louis? Morphine! Presenting Mortine's Power Guard. Its powerful formula kills malaria mosquitoes fast. So, get Mortine's Power Guard.
Fake news which is shared for malicious purposes is a danger to our peace and security in Nigeria. Misinformation as fake news is a serious threat to our hard-earned democracy and promotes hatred and misunderstanding between our communities. We are all responsible for stopping the spread of fake news in its tracks. So, always check the source and credibility of any news item. Say no to fake news. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information.
You're still on to NTA Network News. The Nigerian Ajib Oil Company and partners are training contractors in the oil and gas industry in Nigeria on regulatory compliance and procurement best practices. The workshop held in Yenagoa, Bayelsa State is aimed at developing the capacity of Nigerian-owned companies to actively participate and assist the government to achieve its goals in the sector. Doris Akumoye reports.
The Regulatory Compliance and Procurement Best Practices Workshop is one of the contractors' capacity building initiatives of the Nigerian Ajib Oil Company Limited and our joint venture partners. Vice Chairman and Managing Director, Nigerian Ajib Oil Company, represented by Alexandro Treni, said it is fifth annual edition of the initiative designed to address gaps in various competencies for business growth and sustainability in the oil and gas industry and in line with the core values and mission of NE.
We have invited the relevant institutions and various subject matter experts during these 2 days.
Representative of the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, Patrick Ezeba Oba, said NCDMB ensures that laws are followed. He disclosed that the enactment of the Act in 2010 has enabled them achieve 28% local content redemption.
We have observed that these programs and activities are strategically targeted at mentoring local companies to build capacities and continuously challenge themselves to do more.
At Owando, we are a proudly Nigerian company dedicated to our corporate social responsibilities, such as supporting and building the capacity of our community-based companies.
Highlight of the event was a lecture on regulatory requirements and compliance by the Department of Petroleum Resources, among other sections. In Yenagoa, Doris Akumoye, NTA News.
Man-made and naturally released toxicants are harmful to human health, the environment, and the economy of any nation. These are the views of speakers at the Nigerian Society for Toxicology First Scientific Conference in Abuja. Basi Itaikman reports.
Record shows that human bodies have become repositories for dozens of toxic agents from the environment with adverse effects on human health. The reduction of the effect of these toxicants necessitated a conference on the impact of man-made and natural release pollution on human and the environment. The conference is an opportunity for toxicologists to seek ways of identifying practical solutions to these problems.
But as toxicologists, we have come to bring all efforts that have been looking for solutions for them together.
I have identified that these are problems, and it is our duty as scientists to begin to think about how these problems can be solved.
It also featured a scientific presentation of tobacco risk reduction, especially to cigarette smokers that find it difficult to quit the habit.
What we're claiming is that this product has the potential, or likely the potential, to reduce harm, and it's a better alternative for smokers who cannot quit right now.
The best thing to do is to stop smoking, to quit smoking. But as scientists, we have to sit down and discuss everything that is causing pollution or what people are exposed to.
The Minister of Science and Technology, who was represented, acknowledged the efforts of Nigerian researchers, but advised that results of such research should be seen as a step towards commercialization to interested investors. Basi Taikbang, NTA News.
This is NTA Network News. We now go over to our Benin Network Center, where Ugo Chukuka is standing by. Over to you.
Thank you and welcome to Benin. The living condition of flood victims in riverine communities in Esan, southeast of the Edo State, has gone from bad to worse in the last few weeks. Kevin Ewonwaye reports that in the absence of a proper resettlement facility, there is a growing fear of an epidemic as thousands are taking refuge at an abandoned primary school at Topororo village.
The victims, numbering over 8,000, came from 8 communities on the bank of River Niger, which have submerged their houses and farmlands. The people, including the elderly, say they resisted going to the makeshift camp put in place at the Abuja public field by the state government because it can only accommodate few persons from Ifeko Island with inadequate mattresses, food, and other necessities.
We don't have anything, even speedboats to convey us to go to Ilushi.
All of us, in other side will be there. Where water come and now we run come here.
Our houses destroyed, our properties destroyed, our crops destroyed.
The people are here comprised of 9 villages, so many ideas.
A member of the House of Representatives, Segios Ogun, who assessed the area with a speedboat, said, with no health care and proper feeding, it may not be long before many of the victims come down with diseases.
But the most important to me now is to avoid cholera and malaria. I will organize a medical outreach to check the health status of people here.
He appealed to the federal government to include Ilushi and its environs in the government resettlement plan to protect the people against future occurrence. In Ilushi, Kelvin Ewonwaye, NTA News.
Governor Godwin Obaseki says no oil-producing community in Edo State will be left behind in the state's development stride. This is contained in his address to the chairman and members of the board of the Edo State Oil and Gas Producing Areas Development Commission at Sopadek during their inauguration. Governor Obaseki wants the board to work to improve the condition of the oil-producing communities. He says plans are on to set aside funds to build modular refineries to enhance development of the areas.
I hope that this commission will also ensure that there will be no host community that does not have high-quality primary schools, secondary schools, and hospitals.
In the meantime, the Oba of Benin is also advising members of the board to be diligent in the discharge of their duties as the oil-producing areas are in dire need of government's attention. This was while receiving a member of the board and his eldest daughter, Princess Ikwoyenwe Ewaye Aimiwu, a specialist in petroleum exploration law.
I'm very proud of her. She turned out to be a replica of my late mother. So I'm not at all surprised that she's been so close to me, that she did so much.
He praised the state government for appointing people of proven integrity to serve on the board. Stay tuned as we take another break. The news continues shortly.
On Tuesday Live this week, we shall be beaming our searchlight on the Industrial Training Fund and how it has fared in ensuring skill acquisition for jobs creation. Tuesday Live at 10:30 every Tuesday promises to be incisive and educative. Don't miss it.
I need a product that I can really trust to restore my skin's natural glow. Nivea Natural Fairness Body Lotion containing unique berry extracts and UV protection to restore your natural glow and care for your skin.
Hello, here to pick up your sister? Mommy? Wow, such beautiful glowing skin.
Reveal your natural glow with Natural Fairness Body Lotion from Nivea.
Madam. Brought us as usual.
As usual. You have no problem.
For the three
You are welcome, sir.
As usual, yeah?
Welcome.
You take that one.
You take that one.
You don't understand? We want Nigerian homegrown rice. Finish. You don't have? You don't have?
Join the rice revolution today.
No other rice that tastes like Nigerian rice. Are you sorry? That's the Nigerian rice we are talking about. Chocolate made in Nigerian rice. Healthy food. I'm going to bring Mrs. Momo to come to chocolate rice of made in Nigeria here. And see how it are made.
Correct.
And how they are cook it.
Correct.
Homegrown rice are good for your health. It boosts our economy and give employment to our people.
This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Welcome back. Nigeria and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia are evolving new strategies aimed at deepening bilateral ties between the two countries and to mobilize global effort to combat extremism and terrorism. This was further stressed at the commemoration of the 88th Saudi National Day in Abuja. Correspondent Ado Adamu also reports.
It was another time for the diplomatic community in Nigeria to congratulate one of their own. The ambassador of Saudi Arabia to Nigeria, Fahad bin Abdulaziz, used the event to highlight the importance of the 88th National Day. He particularly acknowledged the strategic partnership between Nigeria and Saudi Arabia, which predate formal diplomatic tie in 1960.
Relation between the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which was established in 1960 and based on the common interest of two countries. We look forward to more cooperation in this and all fields.
Nigerian Minister of State Foreign Affairs is quick to emphasize the growing collaboration in fighting terrorism and corruption as championed by President Buhari and King Salman.
We will work very, very closely with the ambassador and other staff of the mission to ensure that things do work out smoothly and the working relationship that exists waxes stronger.
Nigeria and Saudi have strong religious and economic ties since the Trans-Saharan era. In Abuja, Ado Adamu also, NTA News.
The Nigerian Muslim community in the United Kingdom has launched an appeal fund urging public-spirited individuals and philanthropists to assist in purchasing a suitable building that will serve as a center for all their Islamic activities in the United Kingdom. The fundraising and appeal was the subject matter of discussion at the annual general meeting of the Nigerian Muslim Forum, United Kingdom. Hawa Yusuf Huntua reports.
The Nigerian Muslim Forum in the United Kingdom was established in 1992 originally to assist families, students and any person in a difficult circumstance, as well as provide places of worship for Muslims who arrive in the UK. Over the years, the Nigerian Muslim Forum has extended its charity work to Nigeria, as explained by its chairman board of trustees, Dr. Abdullahi Shehu.
We sponsor orphans in Nigeria. We sponsor educational programs in Nigeria.
And the guest lecturer, Dr. Bala Mohammed, presented a paper on the media as a tool for promoting cohesion among Muslims.
The media, especially the mainstream media and also the social media, can be used
to provide cohesion between Muslims and other communities.
The objective of the conference is also to launch an appeal fund for the purchase of a befitting Islamic center in London with the capacity to cater for the needs of all Islamic activities in the United Kingdom.
The conference is an opportunity always to come together as a community, mainly to redouble our efforts towards achieving the objectives of the charity.
If this property is purchased, it will make a huge history for the Nigerian community in the UK, for it will be the first of its kind since the history of the Nigerian Muslim population. From the Central Mosque, London, Hawa Yusuf Ntua, NTA News.
Reports just reaching us says the attention of the wife of the president, Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, has been drawn to some media publications and releases purporting illegal detention of her aide-de-camp, ADC CSP Sani Babaina, over allegations of fraud. A statement by the Director of Information to the wife of the President, Suleiman Haruna, indicates that the Nigeria Police Force, the ADC's employers, arrested him to investigate the allegations levels against him, this being within the police force's jurisdiction. The wife of the President wishes to use this opportunity to inform the general public that she has never sent any of her staff to collect any favor on her behalf or on behalf of her children, and will never do so. Sports now. Gombe Bulls and Kwara Falcons qualify for the final 8 of Kwesi Premier Basketball League. And Luka Modric wins the award of FIFA's Best Player of the Year. Tamara Ibewe has more on Sport Update.